Hi everyone, it's Andrew from Hobbies Australia, and today we're going to look at a new kit from Border Models, their Kodiak Armoured Engineer Vehicle. So the Kodiak Armoured Engineer Vehicle is a system that's used by the Swiss military, by the German military, also by the Singapore military, and this is just an absolutely beast of a machine. Just looking at the box art, looking online at some pictures of this thing, this is a very, very serious piece of equipment. So what we've got here, boom, okay, great. Got a solid top opening box, and when I open that up, bang, chock-a-block full. 26 odd sprues, plus instructions, plus decals, plus photo-etch, plus polycaps, and rubber tubing for the hydraulic hoses. This is a very, very comprehensive model kit. If we look at the box art, here's a stylised picture of the armoured vehicle with the big bucket and dozer blade. We can make this model so that both the dozer blade and the digger arm is posable, so that's a really nice option. Box sides, a couple of samples there, or examples of the model being built. We can see there again the boom fully articulated. Looks really, really nice. Very, very impressive model. So let's see what we've got here. Part count on this model is going to be very, very high, and I guess when we start looking at the reasons why, if we look at these sprues, which are for the tracks, each track section has 1, 2, 3 parts. We've got about 90 odd track links on each side, so 270 individual parts per track run. So the part count on this is right up there. We've got two different, I guess for want of a better term, turret options now. One is for the Swiss military, one is for the German military. So with this instruction booklet, I really suggest that you sit down, go through it, work out what particular model it is that you want to make, because there are some subtle variations between each country's military variant. Now, we'll bring these in a little bit closer in separate pictures, but you'll be able to see like the non-slip texture detail that's been moulded onto these armoured housings for the vehicles. Very, very nicely done. As I said, there's two different armoured housings, the A version, and the other one clearly marked as B, one for the Swiss military, one for the German military. Really, really nicely done. Ryan's going to get some close-up images for you of the various sprues. This is just a great kit. There's so much going on here. It's going to be a great build. It's not going to be a quick build because of the level of detail and the high part count that I said. You know, I just think this is a great kit. The guys at Border really are doing a good job. Yeah, there's been a few things where they've possibly let themselves down, but at the same token, they then turn around and produce something like this, the Kodiak, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. Careful painting, careful weathering. This is going to be really, really nicely done. So what I've got here, and I'm just going to lay these out, photo etch sheets, fairly comprehensive for a 135th Armoured Fighting Vehicle, 1, 2, 3 sheets. Decal set is fairly straightforward. We've got wire there for the tow cable, clear parts for all the periscopes and viewing ports for the commander's cupola and the driver's vision port, so that's all really nice. The one thing, and as I said, the guys at Border do a really nice job, but then sometimes they do a few things that make you sit back and scratch your head and go, I wonder why. Now, as I said, this is a really, really nice kit, and I'm very, very impressed with it. The level of detail, the moulding quality, etc., is just superb. But then we get something like that, and it's probably going to be a little bit difficult to see, but this is poly tubing to replicate the hydraulic hoses on the bucket arm on the engineer vehicle. And the people at Border have chosen to give it to you in a clear tube, which I think is a little bit strange because, you know, hydraulic hose is always black, and it would be hard to have sourced this at manufacturing level in black, which would have saved modelers a little bit of mucking about. And I guess that's one of the probably the frustrating / disappointing things that I see crop up from time to time with the Border models. They've got a really good base product and it's almost there. It's 98, 99% over the line, and then they do something like that, which is just a little bit strange, maybe even a little bit lazy. But look, at the end of the day, it's still a beautiful kit, and it's one that people are going to love to get their hands on. So the instruction booklet is really nicely done. Front cover, just a copy of the box art, a little bit of a history of the vehicle. Then we've got the sprue layout. Now, one thing I would draw to your attention just here, this is Sprue T and this is Sprue S. Now, if you go looking for Sprue S and Sprue T when you're checking off the sprues when you open the box, you're going to come up short, because what they've done is they've only supplied this piece from Sprue S, okay, and only a portion of Sprue T. The rest of it isn't required in the actual build. So when you're checking these off, you might think that you've been shortchanged with what's been supplied. You actually haven't, but I would urge you to check that off before you start the build process. I found that a little bit strange, but I sat down and went through the kit and checked it all off to make sure everything was there. And yeah, everything you need for the build is there. It's just a little bit strange that they showed the full sprues when they didn't supply them. I think that because this model is based on the Leopard 2, this is why we're shown these full spruce shots, even though they're not required for the build sequence. And the guys at Border Model have only given you from Sprue S and Sprue T what you need to build the Kodiak. I think if we opened up a Leopard 2, we'd actually find the full Sprue S and the full Sprue T included. Moving through the instructions, it's a nice, clear, glossy booklet. Nothing too onerous. We start here with the hull, the running gear, move through to some of the upper hull, and this is where you start selecting what version you want. Is it going to be the German Army? Is it going to be the Swiss version? Etc, etc. So there's a few decisions there for the model maker to make, but again, there's nothing too onerous, I don't feel, in the construction steps. The way in which it is laid out seems fairly straightforward, but there's a lot of detail and the instructions at times are a little bit busy, so measure twice, cut once, so you don't have any heartache during the construction stages. Really nicely done, as I said, quite an impressive model. Here we've got all the articulated digger arm. This can all be made, as I said, to be fully articulated and working, so that's really nice. We start to see here the poly piping being used, the poly tubing. So whether or not you use what's supplied in the kit and spray paint it, or you go out and source some black poly tubing from elsewhere, entirely up to the modeller. Lots and lots of reference photos online, so have a look at that. It's just a really, really awesome piece of military machinery. It's just got grunt written all over it. So there we go, finished the construction at stage 28. We then have pages showing the colours and markings. So all in all, it's a fairly straightforward build. It's a detailed build. There's a lot going on this kit, as I said. Part count is high, probably up around about 700-800 parts at least. But it's a really, really nice rendition of the Kodiak Armoured Engineer vehicle. So as always, please hit that subscribe button. Leave your comments below. We welcome your constructive criticism. What can we do better? What would you like us to review next? Until next time, I'm Andrew from Hobbies Australia. And as I always say, take care, stay safe, and let's build more kits. Cheers.